fucking mental, man. I get so desensitized about terrorism now. I don't even care anymore. The first big one, remember the big one where the planes hit the buildings and the buildings... I can't remember what date it was, but the fucking... And every terrorist attack since then, it's fucking whatever. The one in Glasgow where the guy was in flames and he drove his flaming car into the airport. The first thing that went through my brains when I saw that was, oh, you fucking cunt. Now I'm going to have to put my toiletries in a plastic bag. Take me shoes off, you're wasting me time. Fuck. My brother's a mental case. He's been mental my whole childhood. He can't help himself. He's older than me, but he's just fucking wired wrong. Something in his head. I'm going to tell. I've never told this on stage before. We probably won't get on the DVD, but this is just something funny. Me and my brothers were talking. Whenever my mother's a great big fat woman. She still is. She's 18, 19 stone or something. She'd always used to get us to go out and get the washing off the line, and she'd always be in the kitchen going, go get the washing off the line, make sure you fold everything, and yelling at us while we were doing it, right? When I was about 10 and Scott was about 14, and we used to go out there. Whenever we got her underwear off the line, we would get on either end of it and fold it like a flag. like, if that's not funny, nothing is. So, one time, me and my brother at home, right, just the two of us, and he's about 16, I'm about 12, and my mum and dad are out of the house, and my brother Scott is on the couch, and he looks over at me and he goes, Jim, get me a Coke. And I went, get your own fucking Coke, I'm not going to get you a Coke. And he went, get me a Coke or I'll piss on the carpet. Piss on the carpet, you mad cunt, I'm not going to get you a fucking Coke. Get me a Coke or I'll piss on the carpet. I'm not going to get you a Coke. So my brother stood up, walked to the middle of the living room, which is a longer distance than getting himself a fucking Coke, pulled out his cock, started pissing on the carpet. He's looking at me going, you really should have got me a Coke. Why wouldn't you get me a Coke? Does his fly up, goes back to the couch, doesn't get himself a Coke. So I just fucking left the puddle of urine there. My mum comes home, she's fucking furious, right? Big puddle of urine. She goes, who did this? Who did it? And I went, Scott did it. She looked at Scott, she goes, what did you do that for? And he goes, I told Jim to get me a Coke or I'd piss on the carpet. And my mum turns to me and goes, why didn't you get him a Coke? You know he's fucking mental. I'll tell you another brother story. This one's a bit sad. I don't know. When me and my brother were young, my dad was doing that thing where, you know when you were being taken to the dump yard, the tip or something like that? When you were a little kid, that was better than going to a football match. That was just like the best day ever. Because you never knew what you were going to find at the junkyard, did you? You'd just be there, standing on a pile of shit, going, Dad, you have to see this. We've got to take it with us. It's a fridge. It's only missing a door. So we're loading up all this stuff from out of the garage, emptying old boxes and whatnot. My brother, I don't know, I'm about 9. No, I'm about 5. My brother's about 9. My brother pulls a vibrator out of a box just like this. And my dad does that fucking dad when they're nervous walker. He goes, hey, what you got there? Right? And then Dad goes, oh, I'll take that off you. Now, as soon as we see that little walk, we know that's something fucking important. And we're just going, Dad, what is that? I have to fucking know what that is. I have to know. That is, what is it, Dad? And Dad sees his two sons and he sort of smiles wryly to himself and goes, it's a massager. My dad turns it on and goes, oh, that's lovely. Oh. And he goes, well, turn that off. We'll put that back in the box. We'll put that box way back up here. Won't look at that again. Okay, about a few days later, my brother comes into my bedroom and goes, Jim, garage. And we go to the garage and then we pile all these boxes up. We get the vibrator out. It's about 40 degrees heat. And my brother looks at me and he goes, now you massage my back and I'll massage your back. Now this is a standard old brother trick. Older brothers do this. You push me on the swings, I'll push you on the swings. And what happens is you push them on the swings for like 10 minutes, and then they push you for like a minute, tell you it was 10 minutes and that you're retarded and you can't read the time. So we both take our shirts off. Now we're just in our underwear, in the garage, in the dark, with a vibrator. And then I start massaging me brother's back, just. And he's giving it these ones. Whoa. And then it's my turn. I get in front. My brother holds the vibrator up. He turns it on and then he drops it on the ground and goes, "You have to put it back up on the top shelf," and then he fucks off. Now, I'm 5 years old. What do? I cry, right? And I pick the vibrator up in the darkness and I just go. That's when my dad comes in. To see his 5-year-old son massaging his back with a vibrator. And I'm crying. And he comes up and he goes, "Has Scotty fucked you over again, mate?" And I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Give it here." And he holds it up and he goes, "Now, you see this? You're not to play with this. This is Dad's." Now that sentence has haunted me. Not that this is Mum and Dad's. This is Dad's. That raises questions I never want answered. Such questions as, why the fuck was it in the garage? Why did my dad's mates never come into the house? I was happy with it being in my mum, but it's more disturbing, that story, than you know. A lot of people find me offensive. And the reason for that is there's a lot of spastics out there. Do you want to know who finds that word offensive? Not the spastics, the people who know spastics, people who are friends with spastics. If you're such a good fucking friend, why don't you bring them out tonight, you fucking cunts? Furthermore, a few years ago I did 3 gigs for Scope. They rang me up and said, "Jim, we'd like you to do our benefits." And I said, "Are you sure you want me?" And they said, "You're the only comedian who's ever made jokes about us whilst we're in the room. So anyone who's offended, you can go get fucked. I'm spaz approved." In fact, in their review, they gave me 4 oohs, which... Now, as I said before, if you're friends with these people, why don't you bring them out? You always get some bleeding heart come up to you after a gig going, "Do you know my best friend is a not a spastic, and then you're like, "Well, where the fuck are they, you bitch?" Fucking. I used to work as a disabled carer before I was a comedian. And it was a good job. You felt good about yourself at the end of the day. And I saw some heartwarming things there, man. I saw some fucking miserable things, but I saw some things that made me feel good, man. I got fired for racing them. It sounds a lot worse than it is, right? You say racing retards, that's offensive, right? Call it Paralympics, goodwill. So... Anyway, I'm going to tell you a good story that came from there. Something nice, right? I think this story is inspiring. You might agree with me, but I took these 2 lads down to the beach with cerebral palsy, right? Not with the power of. It's not like they're magical. You assume they'd have some... The only real magical disabilities are dwarfs. And midgets aren't magical. They're just freakish little people. Don't worry about that joke, it goes over the midgets' heads. Doesn't go over the dwarfs' heads. People underestimate how big their foreheads are and just smacks them in the 14th wrinkle. Anyway, I took these 2 lads down to the beach with cerebral palsy. And we wheeled them down to the beach, and there's that beautiful moment when you're at the beach and you're just looking at the water and the sand where you're eating an ice cream. You go, how long do we stay here for? What's the appropriate amount of time? It's not like they're going to go swimming. And in Australia, you can sunbake topless. So there's a lot of topless women walking around, and you're not meant to look at topless women when they're on the beach. If one woman in this room was topless right now, there'd be no gig. The show would be over. The room would be freaking out, right? But At the beach, if a girl's topless, you're meant to just act like this is normal and not look or poke. So, anyway, the two lads, this girl walks by with tremendous tits, right? Now, one of the lads who has no muscle memory whatsoever, right? He's all hawkinged up, right? And a pair of tits walked by, and I swear to God, he fucking locked on. Like a solid fucking... He did not fucking deviate as she went by. And I was thinking, is this some type of therapy that they've never offered these people? Anyway, so I started thinking, right now, as an able-bodied person, I can't stare at tits because someone will punch me in the head. But I think, fuck it, I'm going to start staring at tits. Who's going to punch me in the head? I'm the nicest guy in the world. I'm with two spastics, right? So I start staring at tits. Then this big fat-ass woman with just bikini bottoms on, with her tits hanging out, walks by. And one of the lads turns to the other one, and over the course of 5 minutes, but I'll speed it up for you, goes, "There's one for you, mate." Now, it's a lovely joke. It's a joke that we have all enjoyed. Everyone has done that joke with their friends, gone, "That's your wife, that is," and we've all had a good laugh. It's not a great joke, but you know what I found heartwarming, what I found inspiring about that? You know what was inspiring? This guy can't wipe his own ass, yet he's too good for the fat chick. The human spirit, my friends. Now, who's watched me getting punched in the head on the internet? It's a lot of fun. I will now endeavour to tell you the actual story of why this happened. A lot of people have written to me and asked if it really did happen and if it was fake. It was completely real. What happened was, I was in a comedy club, the Manchester Comedy Store. It's about 450 people in. There was a woman up on the balcony that kept on heckling and heckling and heckling, and I put it down, I put it down, I put it down, and then eventually I went, "I'm going to leave you alone now, like your dad did," right? And then I went, "It's a shame your grandfather never did." I know, funny, right? Anyway, there was a guy on this side of the room who I assume had some issues with his grandfather. And he took some umbrage on what I said and decided he was going to punch me in the head. But he was an Irish bloke, so he had a full drink. So he waited until he finished his drink and then punched me in the head. But he never yelled anything out. He just sort of put his drink down calmly and went, "All right, I'm going to fucking smack him." Now, when he hit me, I was in the middle of my cunt material. So for me, this was a very odd moment for a man to punch me in the head. Now, I'm going to do the cunt jokes for you now so you know what the mindset I was in when this happened. Starting like this. Women to me are like public toilets. They're all dirty except for the disabled ones. Every single man in this room will admit to being a bad shag from time to time, whether it be through alcohol, fatigue, or just not giving a shit. There's no woman in this room that thinks they're bad in bed. Do you want to know what? Most of you fucking are. The reason you don't know this is because no man's ever told you, because if we tell you, you'll run off and cry because your spirits are weak. Just because I come doesn't mean you're doing a good job. I'm going to come anyway. Sometimes I come so you'll stop whatever the fuck you're doing down there with your nails and your teeth, just put it in your mouth and be a fucking man about it. I've been down on women, I've made them come, and you get that one woman, she's not coming, she looks at you like it's your fault. It's not my fault, your cunt's broken. When I was at university, I fucked a chick and all of her friends walked past me and did that. And women think that's the funniest joke in the world. Well, that's not funny, that's hurtful. Next time you think about doing that, imagine you fuck a guy and all of his mates walk past you and go, "You never do that again." And you think by doing this you're teaching me something I don't already fucking know. I'm well aware I've got a small dick. I've measured it. I know how big my dick is to the millimetre. But does any woman in this room truly know the size of their cunt? None of you. And none of you will ever know for sure because no man's going to tell you because we're good people. I know what you're thinking, he's not talking about my cunt because it gets a bit sore during sex. That means fuck all. I've been down a woman for 20 minutes, it's wide open, it's flowing like the Murray River. I put the tip of my cock in, they go gentle, gentle, gentle. I can shove my fucking head in that. Sometimes fat chicks have really tight cunts. That's a bloody mystery, eh? I think it's because all the fat's pushing it inwards, or when you're fucking them, you just rub it up against thighs and you never actually reach the cunt. That's why doctors say fat women have to lose weight to get pregnant. And that's when I got punched in the head.